Hey y'all, hey, it's JJ Conway. I thought I was going to have a little banner play there for you, a little countdown video, but I guess not. Well, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Before we get started, I've got two quick announcements. You can see them scrolling on the banner beneath me. And I just want to make sure I verbally say it because we've got people who are listening on free conference call. And just in case this motivates them to get out there to Facebook or YouTube, I want to let you know we've got a $25 challenge. From time to time, I like to wear something that has some meaning to me, and I like to tie a little "How well do you know JJ Conway" contest to it. So we are giving away cold hard cash tonight. If you can tell me, if you can, the first person that talks about that tells me what of my two hobbies this shirt could possibly be referring to, you will win $25, a Cash App or PayPal. It's going to be courtesy of our sponsor, Steel Bayou Voice Actors. I want to enjoy having some participation today, especially since I started a little bit late tonight. All right. All right. So, one other announcement that I have before we get into the meat of the lesson tonight is that we are tentatively scheduled Global Youth Initiative of Erath County will be Saturday, April 30th. And I'm still looking to find out when we can schedule Global Youth Initiative Northwest Louisiana. And so I was just in Shreveport and Bossier City yesterday, and we did some scouting out with the libraries as far as where can we have the event. A lot of times I like to go to an activity like we've done it at, well, we used to do it sometimes in my mall. When I was in the Pierre Bossier Mall, my mall space, we have done them at Cyport. We've done them at Risen Rock Climbing. We've done events at different places like that. Chuck E. Cheese, I think, one time. No, not Chuck E. Cheese. That was something else. But we've done them at different places like that. And so, now that the pandemic is easing up a little bit and everybody is booking all the parties and all the travel and all of that with a vengeance, we may just do something a little bit scaled down, just because of availability, to be quite frank with you. This is a totally free event for the kiddos. And so here in Erath County, where I'm currently broadcasting to you from today, we have something very special in the works, and I will reveal it once I have confirmed it. But the date, regardless of whether this special treat works out or we have to go with a plan B, C, or D, the date is going to be April the 30th. And so I hope that in that morning you will bring your young people out. This is specifically for our teenagers, confidence building, leadership training, and all the things to help them take their place in society and not stress about it being their place versus somebody else's place. We want all the kids and all the young people. I guess my son would say he's not a kid. We want all the young adults. How's that? We want all of the young adults who come to Global Youth Initiative to know that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, that they are special, and that they have value, and that God created them with their own special set of gifts, talents, personalities, and abilities so that they could be used in a mighty way that only they can be used. And so it's a very encouraging, uplifting, and empowering event. And I certainly hope that you allow your young people to be a part of it. All right. So let me move that slide out the way. And so I'm going to check the free conference call one more time because they changed the system on me. I want to make sure I got it. Okay, here we go. So for let me make sure. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the vet center. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Dr. Grimes. The vet center would be a fabulous place. I need to reach back out to them. And I was so excited one time, the last time I was at the vet center, because they were doing free COVID antibody testing if you did a blood donation. Well, I've never really been able to donate the blood before because it doesn't come out, but they assured me they could work some magic. But because I'd grown up in Germany, I was disqualified from giving blood. So they do a lot of really good work at the vet center up there in Bossier. So thank you for reminding me about the vet center. All right, all right. So What we're going to do today, this is the Empowered Entrepreneur. For those of you who have never seen that purple slide before, what we have done in 2022 is we have shifted the way that we conduct my business. And when I say we, I talk about me and my boys, because y'all know I'm a hard charging 110% all in kind of personality. And so I had made a commitment to my family when I decided to get out of the Air Force that I would be at all the football games, I would be at all the band concerts, I would be at all the things that I have missed for my kids because I was either TDY'd too much, temporary duty, away on military trips, because I was working late hours, picking my kids up from daycare, taking them to work to finish the work. And so I had made that commitment to them. And I honored, let me tell y'all, I retired 1 November 2020, and I honored that commitment. I think I can count on I think it's probably been 4 times in the last year and a half that I have missed an event that my family had. But the reverberation was, well, I'm doing all this stuff at the school, and I'm volunteering, and I'm driving 3 hours each way to the football game. So in the off hours, I was executing business like a boss, making it happen, doing all the things. Well, we had to find some balance in 2022. And so what we've done is we have restructured the entire way that I teach. And so far, I think it's been a blessing for me. I think it's been a blessing for you too. So if you've enjoyed the new format, then please let me know. But if you weren't aware of the new format and you thought that, oh, JJ's on a Thursday, she must be doing Q&A. I will do Q&A. You can drop your comments in. However, what we're doing, this is the fourth Thursday. It's the Empowered Entrepreneur. In fact, let me put my slide back up. Oops, I added the stream. There we go. Let me put the slide back up. I'm going to show you guys the other ones and gals, the other ones as well. So the fourth Thursday is the Empowered Entrepreneur. The third Thursday is Real Estate Investing 101. So we'll do real estate topics. The second Thursday is 7-figure business building. So whereas the Empowered Entrepreneur we're going to talk about tonight is going to be mindset. It's going to be the mindset that helps you lift your leadership lid so that you can empower your contractors, your employees, yourself to succeed and to really shine in your areas of giftedness. Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. It's the mindset, it's the leadership, it's the communication. When we get to the 7-figure business building, that is more of the strategies and the tactics. That moves from that's some strategy, but it's mostly tactics. Okay. And so then on the first, well, y'all know since we're at 8 years now, every first Thursday has been fireside chat. So we answer your money questions. But this is what we're doing today. We are doing the Empowered Entrepreneur. And again, if this is news to you, oh wait, let me put it back on me. Yeah, there we go. If this is news to you, I want to encourage you to come to these, because this series of lessons will help you lift that leadership lid. One of the greatest things that I learned in the John Maxwell suite of products and services that we have is that an organization can never outperform the lid of the leader. And so if I am on a scale of 1 to 10, let me do it this way. If on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm only a 5 at being a leader, then my people, they're never going to outshine me. My organization is never going to outshine where I'm at. And so you could be the most amazing scientist in the world. You could be the most amazing plumber in the world. You could be the most amazing whatever it is in the world of technical doing what you do. But as a leader, leading is a different skill set. And if you're only here, your people can only get so far. You have to lift your leadership lid so that your organization and your people can continue to grow. And I think that the most aware leaders and the most effective leaders are ones that understand that this is a process. Okay, this is a process, and that it's growth, and that it doesn't end. Like I don't ever foresee a point where I'm going to get to in my personal growth and be like, oh, I'm there. I'm done now. Let me just kick my feet up and drink my little iced tea with the umbrella on it. I'm all done. I don't think that's ever going to happen. There's always higher heights, and there's always deeper depths. And I believe that's in all the areas of my life, whether it comes to faith, whether it comes to relationships, whether it comes to finances and my ability to have financial impact in the community, all the things. There's always higher heights, and there's always deeper depths. All right. So these lessons will help you lift your leadership lid with the goal of creating an empowering environment for your employees, contractors, and yourself to shine. So in today's lesson today, excuse me. In today's lesson, I want to talk about power principle number 5. And this is the role of focus in living a successful and rewarding life. So, we live in this wondrous world, right? Full of sights, sounds, motion. And even my shirt is really busy today. This is a really busy shirt, right? There's a lot of busyness that goes on around us. And amidst all of this stimuli, right? It's really easy for us to be distracted from what's really important. And I kind of gave an example of that when we were starting off the series, because I've often talked about how my personal how do I want to say it? I tend to be good at a lot of different things. The older I get, the more I realize that other people really were better than me at all these other things, but I was good enough, right? And so now I'm learning to let other people be good. But when you're multi-talented and you can pick up the book and you can learn how to do this to an 80% solution and implement it and roll on, it's very easy to get distracted by this and get distracted by that and spend 4 hours building this when you could have just paid somebody and let them do it, and they could have gotten it done in 20 minutes, and so we have all these distractions, and there's several there's I know that I have taught this lesson before. I may not have taught it under the banner of the empowered entrepreneur, but I have taught this lesson before, and I will continue to probably teach it once a year, maybe even twice a year, because it's so powerful in our lives. And so there's all these different things that challenge our focus. And sometimes what challenges our focus may well be the phone, but sometimes it's not just the phone, it's us. And so let's look at some definitions. Let's look at some definitions really quick of focus. Okay. So when we look at focus, focus can mean an active concentrating of our interest, our energy, our attention, our activity. It can be an active concentrating. So notice the word active. When we're focused, this is not a passive thing. Passivity, by definition, is rather unfocused and generalist. It's diffuse. Okay, it's just whatever's coming into my attention. That's what I'll do. And this comes into my attention, and that comes into my attention. Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. This is a focus. Okay, so focus also means to converge on or toward a central point, or to bring emotion. This is a good one. To bring emotions into alignment, and so now when I think about bringing something into alignment, I think about my time as a physicist. When you go to calibrate the machines, you make sure that you bring all the equipment into focus. You make sure everything is sharp, and all the little electrons that are making the different images, they've all converged onto one. Everything is in alignment. Well, we've got to be in alignment with ourselves. And sometimes as business people, and sometimes as entrepreneurs, and sometimes as parents, and sometimes as people, sometimes as ministers, sometimes as fill in the blank, our emotions and the image we have in our head is not in alignment with what we say we want for our lives. And if you struggle with that like I did for so many years, I encourage you to jump into the self-image class that we have going right now. It's Self-Image Rising, and it is available to you on the Building Wealth Together platform. All right. Another thing that focus can mean, I think I already mentioned that, is conveying that maximum clarity or distinctness of the image. So if I came, I don't want to mess up my camera, y'all. Look, I've had so many camera issues. I don't want to mess with it. But if I got close to my camera, it would get out of focus. Or if I put this close to my camera, okay, something is out of focus. And then the camera focuses on this. Well, now I'm out of focus. Now the camera's going to bring me into focus. You see how that works? Now, if you're listening on free conference call, just imagine what I'm talking about, okay? Because I know you can't really see me. But it's important to understand these different areas that could mean focus. So just as our vision has different meanings. We can have the vision of our eyesight, our physical eyesight. But we also have the vision that helps define our life's purpose and identifies the objectives that help us reach the purpose, right? That's what vision does for us. Focus gives us the clarity and it helps us concentrate our energy and activity to help us reach and grab our goals in order to carry out that life's purpose. Now, what happens to a lot of us? What happens to a lot of us? Okay, maybe not you. Well, let me tell you what happens to me. I'm going to be the world's #1 financial planner, helping women dump debt, build wealth, create a legacy so they can live lives of joy and impact. And ooh, I really care about kids because somebody poured into me when I was a kid and I really want to give back to kids. So, yes, this is my goal, but I'm going to do this right now. Oh, wait, over here, you're working as single moms, single military moms. Oh, I remember being a single military mom. I remember coming home from that trip and my house was sold and my stuff was thrown out. And I had to figure out when the dust settled how to be a single military mom with $800,000 of debt, didn't even run up the most of that debt in my own name. And yes, let me go over here and help you. And let me go over here and help you. And science, oh y'all, science is my first love. I was a physicist in the Air Force for 23 years, y'all. So you know, I am not gonna leave my STEM peeps hanging. No, 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 no. I'm gonna go over here. And what's gonna happen is this is my goal. But if I'm not focused on this goal, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be over there. I'm going to be over there. Oh, wait, y'all. We always say God's first, but I didn't even have church in that one. Well, you know, I'm a minister in the Church of the Living God International, and I'm new to Erath County. So, you know, we're gonna plant the flag. We're gonna expand the kingdom because that's what I'm supposed to do. Do you see how we can have all this energy and we can have all this activity and we can be spread out all over the place and we're not moving any closer to the goal, not moving any closer to the vision, we're not moving any closer to the things that we say we want out of our lives. This is why we have to have focus. And in today's fast-paced society, focus is becoming more scarce in our lives than ever before. And now, part of the distraction lies simply in the overwhelming number of choices that we're asked to make each day, and it's growing and growing unless we take intentional action to limit those choices that take up our mind space. All right. So, for example, I have a friend who likes to talk about going into Starbucks, and apparently he goes into Starbucks with his wife, and he likes Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I've never been impressed with Dunkin' Donuts drinks, but I am not a coffee drinker. I don't go to Starbucks for the coffee. I go for the cocoa. I go for the chai, right? I go for the green matcha frappe, right? But this guy loves simple Dunkin' Donuts coffee. His wife loves Starbucks, so he goes in there. And they're not married now, but anyway, that's beside the fact. Wow, you know what? I'm not going to be able to use this recording for the Power Principle series, so we just gonna do this lesson, y'all. Okay. Um, Look, don't forget if y'all have questions as I'm teaching this stuff, or if you have comments, or if any of this rings true in your life and you're willing to share it with others, go ahead and drop it in the comments. All right. So anyway, he goes into Starbucks with his now ex-wife. And he is just overwhelmed with all of the decisions that he has to make to buy a simple cup of coffee. It was staggering. Did he want it tall? Did he want it grande, venti, bold, mild, skinny, splenda, sweet with equal sweet with sugar, high sugar, low sugar, honey, and if you don't have kids, you may not know about this, but do you want it at regular temperature or do you want it at kids temperature? Do you want whip? Especially if you don't get dairy, do you still want the dairy whip? I mean, it's just a never ending thing of decisions. And all he wants is this large cup of coffee with cream and sugar. Okay. And so you think about how many decisions in our life have become way more complicated than ever. I mean, like, when was the last time you tried to buy toothpaste, right? Like, I get Thieves toothpaste from Young Living. I feel that with my traveling and everything, I'm going to spend a little bit more on a quality toothpaste that has been shown to greater prevent cavities and things like that. Because I'll admit it, I'm not as fastidious about my dental hygiene as I should be when I'm traveling, right? So I just use a really high quality toothpaste, right? And so I don't have to make a decision about what toothpaste, but whenever I've gone to go buy something for my boys or my husband, it's ridiculous. There's 40 different kinds of Colgate. It's not just like back in the day. You had Colgate for sensitive, then you had Colgate for, then they came out with the whitening, and now they got like the whitening that for sensitive, and the whitening for medium grade, and the whitening for smokers. I mean, it's just like there's like 40 different kinds. It's overwhelming the number of consumer choices we got to make. And then you bring in technology, right? And now information is accessed through all these different channels. iPad, BlackBerry. Well, I don't do BlackBerry anymore, but cell phones, the TV cable, the home shopping network. I mean, how many times do we look at something, and even if we're not going to buy it on Amazon, do we go into Amazon, pull up Amazon, and look at the um um what do you call them? The reviews, right? And so it's just redonkulous. We rush, and we rush our kids from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting, and our kids are going from activity to activity, activity to activity. We squeeze in a quick meal here and there, and maybe we even have a conversation from time to time. And we're constantly bombarded with sights, sounds, stimuli of all kind. And people say silence is golden, but today it's rarely heard. In 1960, In 1960, Americans averaged less than one television per home. And today we average three television per home and only 2.5 people. Think about that for a second, right? So I could ask you how many TVs are in your house. Now most of y'all probably like me, not a really big fan of TV. We got one in the main room, and I have been very adamant about not having televisions in my boys' rooms or in our bedroom. And I'm so glad that my husband agreed with that when we first decided to take our relationship to a permanent level. Those are the kind of conversations we had to have. But as if you think, okay, well, I don't have a TV. What's that phrase? Poor people have big TVs, and rich people have big libraries, right? And so it's really easy to be like, I'm good. But what about the phones? What about computers? What about all the gadgets that we take with us on a regular basis? How many of us are in some meeting, or we're even watching TV, and we talk about the kids? But I'm gonna tell you something. We talk about the kids, but I'm seeing it more and more amongst my age bracket and above, that we're watching TV. We've got a tablet on one leg, and then we've got a phone on the other leg. And we used to only talk about that with the kids, right? And so that friend with the coffee, right? He developed a new name for teenagers for that. He called them screenagers, because they often got all the screens. They've got the TV going, and they've got a computer going, they got a cell phone, and they might even have a tablet right there. Okay. And I have found, as a speaker and trainer, I go all over the world now, and it's not just something here in the United States, right? So even in my military travels, and now in my professional speaking travels, I've seen this all over the world. And maybe, I remember I remember being in Suriname, where they still had the thatch roofs and the dirt floors, but you better believe that person had a cell phone. And even in areas where there wasn't a cell phone, there's something about the culture that's speeding up as far as the level of our lack of attention, the level of intention or lack of intention, and all of these different things that are clouding us up. So we're not even in areas that aren't distracted by 20 different devices on one person's hands. We're seeing this level of distraction continues to rise. Okay. And I've even seen it in Korea, Italy, Germany, Mexico, Middle East. I've been 14 different countries, and it's really the same. We're appearing, we're trying to do more and more and more and more with less and less and less. And our society has come to expect it from us. And so, especially in this culture, we purchase more and more gadgets so we can be connected to information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no downtime. No, look, don't get me wrong. I got a Motorola, and those of you who know me, I have it for productivity and durability, right? I value those two things more than the entertainment that Samsungs are known for, or the cool factor of an iPhone, okay? And so, of course, I'm using this a lot. I use the email, I use the phone, I use the texting, I use all that stuff a lot. It allows me to connect with people and help people all over the world, right? But I'm not multitasking when I do those things. My full attention is focused on the person I'm working with at the moment that I'm working with them. I don't have the TV or internet or radio station turned on in the background. I'm not checking emails while I'm on the phone with a coaching client, unless I'm checking for an email that he or she sent me. And I know that there's a lot of people that operate that way, right? And it's really easy and seductive to do it. And you might even be one of them. I had this friend one time. She used to always say, I can multitask, I can multitask, I can multitask. It was hilarious having conversations with her while she was grading papers, and we would be watching a show and she would be grading papers and people would be having conversations, and she would not believe it. Like, if she's listening to this today, she's not even thinking that I'm talking about her, because she would not believe the number of things that she did not hear when we were all trying to talk to her while she was insisting that she could multitask. Okay, in an effort to be more productive, we really do try to do more things in less time. And I really think that this multitasking and this insistence on more and more and more and more, I really think it's to our detriment. I mean, look at the airline incident where distracted pilots overshot their city by 100 miles before they even realized they missed it. Think about the tragic consequences of youth texting while they drive. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that Oprah devoted an entire show to the growing number of deaths in auto accidents attributed to cell phone use. And one of her guests was a University of Utah, I think, professor who studied distracted drivers for 10 years and talked about the research that showed our brains literally cannot process peripheral visual clues when we drive and talk on the phone. I was like, what? His study showed that when our brains are focusing to process a phone conversation while our bodies are physically engaged to drive the car, that our mind is only seeing what's directly ahead of us. Now, when I first heard this concept and I first heard that our mind can't process the peripheral cues of the elderly person on the sidewalk about to step into the street, or somebody on their bike, just barely outside of our vision, you know, I didn't understand that. But now I'm out in rural Texas. And you better believe it drives my kids crazy, because we're all talkative people. Well, not all of us. My husband is not. That's probably the only way we have harmony in the household, right? But I'm talkative. The boys are talkative. Everybody wants to talk. And when they get mom in the car, ooh, that is their time. That is their time to talk to mama, right? But the thing is, what they have had to realize is, I cannot process the conversations and them wanting to listen to some music in the background and keep focused on the road. So you got to make a choice. Mom's priority is focusing on the road, because so many times has something darted out into the street. So many times has some debris blown into the street. I mean, you're out here on these back roads. There's no street lights. It's not like anybody's out there cleaning the road for you. In fact, last night I was coming back, and this was on the highway. This was on I-20, y'all, in Dallas, I think it was, or close to Dallas. So the traffic was picking up. There was a truck stopped in the middle of the not, I was about to say beltway, in the middle of I-20. So there's like two lanes where I'm at there's two lanes, and then my lane, and then another two lanes next to me. And there's this thing. And I'm like, what is that in the road? It's this truck that was stopped in the middle of the road, lights completely off. And the only reason that I saw this vehicle in time is because the car in front of me, who was up about 20 yards in front of me, swerved out of the way to avoid it, because the shadow of the bridge we were approaching, you could not see this thing right there in the middle of the road. Had I taken that moment to be on my phone, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. And I don't know why they didn't move that. I don't know why didn't somebody call it in. I don't know why all them cops that I saw on the road, why didn't none of them take care of that or put up some warning things or some flares or something, you know? But in any event, this is why. This is why many states have passed laws against being on the phone while you're driving, holding the phone. And and it's not even just the phone. Like, we blame a lot on the phone, but look, I have ridden in the car with folks and I have had to ask them, "Can you want me to take over driving while they think they can eat and drive?" Mhm. They can eat and drive. I've seen people swerving just trying to do the radio, y'all. So it's really, really essential. It's really, really essential that we understand this impact. And this is the kind of focus that can help keep us safe. This is a life or death kind of focus that we're talking about. So there's other ways that being focused in our lives can help us achieve our goals. And one of those is by making us more efficient. There's a study at Stanford University that found that college students who multitask regularly were actually less able to switch between tasks than those who don't. They were more easily distracted when they were engaged in a task. Isn't that interesting? So you think multitasking is going to help you accomplish a task, but actually what it does is over time it makes you more susceptible to the distractions. All right. So one of my mentors, Les Brown, he pointed out that while focus is proven mandatory, it's one of the most difficult things that we can do today. All right. It's one of the most difficult things that we can do today. And it's critical for us to realize this because a lot of goal achievement lies in the realm of creativity, and creating is a completely separate process from consuming and communicating information. Therefore, it's especially difficult to create when our energy is diffused in multiple directions at once. And under these conditions, if you can access your creative process at all, it's considerably slow. So you might say that multitasking diminishes our creative effectiveness. Just think about that for a second. These things that we think we're doing, that we think should be helping us succeed, could actually be the very things that are making it harder for us to succeed. Now, to better understand the significance of the seemingly small distractions, okay, I want you to think about the distraction of a small canopy of shade, okay? A little bitty bit of shade, just a little bit of shade can interrupt the sun's rays and deflect the world's most powerful energy source to create a nice cool space amongst the hot surrounding, right? In contrast, a typical laser is a it's a low energy source of light, but because of its pinpoint focus, it can be harnessed to penetrate almost any material. Focus is precision energy. And most of us think that focus is about tuning out the distractions. I mean, after all, we know that distractions are a part of life. We know we don't have perfect control over our environment, right? But I want you to think about another perspective on this. Think about how we accept our reality. Now, think about this, that focus could also be about tuning into the right positive influences, a thoughtful control, ooh, of what we let into our minds. You see, we have that power to control what we consume. We have the power to control what comes into influence. You have the power to control the music that you listen to. You have the power to control what media you consume. You have the power to control the energy of the people you're around in the times of your life that you can choose to be around them. Okay? Because I may not be able to choose the energy of my coworkers, but I can choose who I spend my free time with. So I want you to ask yourself, on what specifically should you begin to focus to increase the power in your life? So think about this, think about this. Let's go back to the example of the sun. The sun's coming down, diffuse energy, and you've got a shade, and the sun comes down, and this is nice and cool. So it doesn't take much to stop this diffuse energy of the sun. Just a little shade can stop that energy. It's really diffuse, right? But if you have laser focus, if you have laser focus, that focused energy, even if it's not a lot, can cut through almost anything. And a lot of us have been expending inordinate amounts of energy. But we've been like the sun's rays, we've been diffuse. And it's been super easy for something to stop us. And what I'm asking you today is to look at areas of your life where you can reclaim the power of your life. And when you're able to reclaim the power, when you are able to begin focusing, now you can accomplish that laser point goal with less energy. So when I'm working with somebody on this kind of a coaching situation where we're really trying to get laser focused and stop all the distractions, but really get focused on what we want, get that done. Get focused on what we want, get that done. There's a couple of questions that I like to ask. And so one is, this is fun. This is fun. And I want you to do this with me. If you've got a piece of paper, you just jot these down really quick, okay? Just jot down the answers to these really quick. Okay. So one, what are you absolutely great at? What are you absolutely great at? I know some of you have probably never even thought about that, but I want you to think about it really quick. What are you absolutely great at? Number two, what skills do you possess that others admire in you? And all of us, if we will dig deep enough, we can find some skill sets that we are really great at. Now, it may be hidden, it may be latent, but you can find some skill sets that you are great at. Like for example, one of the things, I'll give you an example that's really kind of silly. I never realized it, how much of an asset it was, but I do. Sometimes it's a liability, but I do tend to jump in. I jump in, I get the idea. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I jump in, and most of the time I can make it happen, y'all. There are times where it gets me in trouble. There's times where I moved a little too soon. But because those times are so few and far in between, I'm very comfortable with being able to just jump in and put my energy on it and make it happen. That's a skill that others admire. It's something that I'm good at. Okay. So number three, are the things that you're great at and the skills that you possess that others admire in you, are they things that you love to do? Hopefully the answer is yes, but sometimes the answer is no. Because y'all heard the story. Some of you heard this story. When I went to go find my major, one of the reasons I settled into physics was because I was trying to figure out what my major should be. And the physics, the chemistry, I got straight A's in chemistry. They're like, open with open arms, come on and join us. And I'm like, chemistry's not really my thing. Math, not really my thing. I ended up going to the physics. They're like, you can't do physics because you're black. Blacks can't do physics. And I'm like, you're not gonna tell me what I can and can't do. But physics was never my strong suit. I was really, really great at math. I was really, really great at chemistry, straight A's. It just wasn't my jam. They weren't something that I just love. And I was an AB student, so I wasn't dumb. I was number five in my class, and I ended up going to get my master's degree free. I was number five in the physics department, and I ended up getting a free master's because of that. I was the cut line, right? Like the cut line was just below me, right? So I wasn't dumb or anything, but it wasn't my strongest suit, but it wasn't something that I love to do. All right. So there's three of the four questions. And then the fourth is, can you have a meaningful income from them? Is it something that you can get paid for? In fact, there's a concept on this. I don't know if she still, or she ever chose to watch any of my podcasts or my lessons, but there was another speaker I was trying to build a relationship with, and Both of our kids played the cello. Both of our kids built robotics. Everything that she said was something that I was doing, you know? And then she started talking about this Japanese concept of ikigai. And then when I was like, "Ooh, tell me about that. That sounds really fantastic." Well, she starts describing, I'm like, "Oh, I've been teaching that." Well, I didn't know, when the internet first came out, it was kind of a wild, wild west. Everybody was just grabbing everybody else's pictures and stuff. And, today you get sued for that. But I had grabbed somebody's picture. I gave, and it wasn't Iggy Kai because I went back and looked at it later, but I forget what it was. But I had put my own title on the center of your highest and best use. But it was really this concept. It's the intersection of what you're good at, what the world needs, what do you love, what are you passionate about, and what can you make money with, what are they willing to pay you for. So but these four questions, you know with just if you only have one or two answers real quick, just consider them. I'll give them again. What are you really great at? What are something that others admire in you? And if you're familiar with Ikigai, these are not the four areas of it, but it's very close, right? Are these things are things that you love to do, and can you have meaningful income, right? And so, if you just sit with those for a little bit, it helps you identify the activities that you value more, and it helps you understand which activities are worthy of your focus, worthy of your time, worthy of your energy, worthy of your activity. So then it all boils down to, what are the activities that only increase your power? For some of us, filing and getting things organized, they really increase our power. For some of us, it sucks the energy out of us. Guess what? We need to have both of those people come together and work together. And one can help the other, and the other can help the other. And it's just a beautiful thing. Everybody's in their lane of excellence. All right. So, well, actually, lane of excellence is probably not a very nice phrase, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. All right, all right. We're gonna round this up here. We're gonna round this up. Okay. But really, it's one of those ancient teachings that a focused mind is more powerful than 1,000 elephants. All right. And I really believe there's no limit to what we can produce with our mind. I know a lot of times we think, well, I can't do this over here and I can't do that over there. And so it's just no sense. But really, in our sphere, if you could hold your fingers like this, in our sphere of influence that we have, of the things that we can do, this little sphere that I make, this little air sphere, if this air sphere represents everything that I could be doing, it represents everything that I could be doing right now, the reality is all I'm doing is barely even a little speck of that, barely even a little speck of it. And so I don't have to do something in somebody else's sphere of influence. I just need to maximize what I could be doing. And by mastering the art of focus, you will learn to harness that power. You'll learn to concentrate your body's activity, your spirit's vision into a singular intention, and with specific results. And this is how we begin to learn to tap the full force of our being and guide it out to carry and fulfill our life's purpose. And it's easy, y'all. It's easy to underestimate the difficulty of becoming focused. I know for me, I even teach this stuff and I still have to fight those battles. Okay. It's simple in concept, but many well intentioned people set out to be focused, fully aware of the importance, but then find themselves in frustration when they fall into one of the distractions over and over and over again. And there's so many distracting traps, and they're not always Facebook or TV. I sit down, I'm going to finish this proposal so that I can speak at this event and get paid nicely to speak at this event. Oh, but I need to get that email done and I need to get this done. And oh, I forgot to respond to them. And oh, boom, 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 boom. 8 hours pass by, time to go pick up the boys, and I haven't accomplished my goal. Anybody else ever have this happen? Oh, it's easy, y'all. It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of all the opportunities and possibilities that are associated with the project or goal, only to let some of the routine but critical obligations fall into neglect. 104,000 unread emails in my Gmail account. And yes, for those who are like, wow, you need to hire somebody. Yes. In fact, tomorrow I have my onboarding with a new individual that I can't wait to tell you more about. We're gonna have a trial run of her as my operations director to really kind of help streamline and make sure that we don't have ever again 104,000 unread emails. All right. So let me ask you this, y'all. All joking aside, what would any ideal day of focus on each separate activity look like for you? It would be a day in which every moment has a perfect intention that you've determined with foresight. And when you are focused, each moment that you spend moves you closer to your desired income. Now let me say that again, okay? Now that doesn't mean that everything always goes right, but when you are focused, every moment you spend moves you energetically, moves you physically, moves you emotionally, moves you any other way you can imagine closer to your desired outcome. Now I do say spend. I do talk about what we're spending, the moments we're spending, and y'all know I usually like to talk about invest, right? You're gonna invest in yourself, you're gonna invest in yourself. But when it comes to time, we're spending time. Time is precious, but it's perishable. It does not give dividends or refunds. When it's gone, it's gone. And what survives? What survives is the results you've achieved and the consequences of your thoughts, your words, and actions. And every moment that goes by is a point in the continuum of life. And the quality of your life will be in direct proportion to your ability to focus. People can execute routine obligations in a low state of focus. We can just be on autopilot, just do this, do this. And a lot of us go through our day without full awareness of what the moment brings and what it takes away. And few of us really understand the many ways that we can respond to any one moment and how one response makes an impact on the next moment and the next and the next. Now, we've covered quite a few power principles, and as with each other one, focus has some main components that if you're able to master them, I really believe will change your life forever. And so with focus, I'm going to give you two components today as we begin to wrap things up. The first focus component is your ability to deliberately concentrate on a specific subject. In fact, the very word concentrate sounds like power, doesn't it? It denotes power. Just think of concentrated detergent or juice concentrate. It's potent. You have to be disciplined enough and committed enough that you aren't going to allow anything to intervene or interfere with whatever it is you are trying to do. Whether it's prayer, whether it's finish this project, whether it's write this article, whether it's go get these headshots taken, whether it's open up your business bank account, whether it's follow this checklist, the strength of your commitment allows you to maximize potential and be able to extract out that which you want to achieve while you focus on your goals. And that level of concentration or focus, it takes you into a zone of achievement, performance, and mastery that most people never achieve because most people focus on the distractions rather than their destiny. The second focus component that I'm going to share with you today, it concerns your ability to be discerning about what you have focused on. Almost anything has value if we make the effort to really look beneath the surface to explore its depth below. My very first Air Force job, my first job really was going to school to get my master's, but my very first actual working job was right across the street from the beach at Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. Now, for those of you who viewed the ocean from any distance, the ocean looks much the same to many people looking at it from a long view or from an overpass or from their balcony. You know, we see the surface and occasionally you catch a little glimpse of what's beneath. But if you put on a snorkel and mask and then you get down in there and you open up your eyes, Your view and your focus is like a whole new world. And if you study it and look beneath, a diverse and vibrant new world exists under what appears to just be a flat blue ocean. It would not be possible to fully focus on each action, each movement, each creature, each plant, each nuance of the water's movement, okay? Because each one of those is its own focus. And life is too short for us to focus on everything. And really, if we tried to focus on everything, what we're really focusing on is nothing. And so it's important that our focus is aligned with our vision and our life's purpose. And so think about it this way, all right? If you believe at this very moment, as you're hearing my voice, that you are going to discover a way to give special value to every moment that follows, that if you really believe that what I was going to say is going to change your life forever, then I'm sure you would pay your closest possible attention. That's purposeful focus. It's a literal visual representation, manifestation of where you are and where you're going. It's your ability to be fully present, with the added bonus that you have a clear purpose for the outcome of this moment. For this moment, I'm going to listen to this lesson and I'm going to get something out of it that's going to change the trajectory of my life. And when you really feel that way, you listen differently than when you're just listening because, well, I like JJ. I want to have her numbers up. I want to support her. I'm gonna let this play in the background while I'm playing games with my kids and I'm doing some stuff. Don't get me wrong. I want you to have it playing in the background if that's the only way you're gonna be able to listen to it. Okay. But a mind that is brought to a single pointed focus awareness is far more powerful at accomplishing anything that is set upon. And so if you're hearing this with perfect focus, you would have a predetermined intention for what you're going to get out of this time together. And one of my teachers, Paul Sheely, he teaches a program on photo reading that teaches this exact principle. And in his course, you can learn how to read 25,000 words a minute. Now, some people don't believe it's possible and they never do it, right? But I actually just signed up to take the class and received a license to teach the class myself. So I now know that it's very possible when we allow purpose and focus to be blended with our predetermined intention. And so it's this simple, almost insignificant distinction, but it's simple and it seems so small, but it brings about a powerful transformation in our lives. You know, one of the distinction between ordinary results and extraordinary results is simply this. The focused person has a predetermined inner agreement that he or she will get something valuable out of every moment. And whatever he or she learns is going to be put into practice. A person, by contrast, who has an out of focus results, they engage in short bursts of mental entertainment. They get distracted by whatever impulse catches their attention, whether it's email, coffee break, text message from a friend. Focus will allow you to conserve energy, time, and resources by harnessing your power to follow the critical path to success. Emerson said that where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if your focus is in 1,000 different directions, then your energy is scattered, weakened, and diffuse. But your focus today on these power principles is a positive step towards directing your energy and concentrating its power on what really matters to you, living your life's purpose. I hope that this teaching has opened up some aha moments for you. I hope that you have been encouraged to look for the areas where your energy may be diffuse and begin to find the areas where you can be focused. This is JJ Conway, and today we've been talking about power principle number 5, focus. Y'all take care and be blessed.